Today we have Mudit Gupta, who is head of Anarock, Hyderabad. So you feel that Hyderabad is more emotionally driven?
In cities like Bombay, people have more practical demands. In cities like Hyderabad, Vastu plays a very important role.
Affordable market. How do you think we are going to position ourselves?
In the last 2 years, we are no more an affordable market because we were already at 1 lakh units unsold in the market. It was necessary for the number of new units getting added to come down. The sale value of the properties, there has been a growth of almost 24%. Last 2-3 years, we have been seeing somewhere between 55,000 to 58,000 units getting sold, which is a little less than Bangalore. Last year, the commercial leasing has been really high. It has crossed over 10 million square feet of leasing.
Why does it feel like we've taken a big hit?
Primarily due to sentiments, a 300 crore launch or a 400 crore launch. So if those kind of news are not there in the market, then people think, the market is not doing great. What worries me is the larger sizes, 5,000 square feet and upwards, goes to a ticket size of 6 to 7 crores. Apart from IT, we have a very strong pharma sector, and other than the pharma sector, the medical sector is also very strong in Hyderabad. So we have a lot of doctors who are investing into all the different type of projects. I don't think we will be able to make products which are less than a crore because the land rates have gone really high.
So you've been in all the cities and the major metro cities. How do you feel Hyderabad stands out?
So Hyderabad stands out in terms of
Wish you all a very happy new year. What else is new is our studio. Hyderabad growth is always looking to upgrade in various aspects, this being one of them. In today's New Year special episode, we have someone who's going to share knowledge on Hyderabad's real estate in a very unique way. We talk about market being up and down, right? But how is this backed up? Is it backed up with data? Today we have Mudit Gupta, who is head of Anarock, Hyderabad. Anarock is a consultancy firm in real estate which operates across 19 cities. And you've been in different cities as well, Mudit. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me here.
And I'm sure it's going to be a very, very good episode with a lot of data. I'm very excited for today's episode.
Same.
And I would like to start with, a little bit about yourself and how your journey started.
So I am a software engineer by education and then an MBA. So I started my journey in real estate with Lodha Group in Bombay. And I worked in Bombay for almost a decade with Lodha Group, Godrej Properties and Tata Housing. So with Tata's, I was handling the North India portfolio in Gurgaon and Noida. And from there, I moved to Anarock. And then I've been with Anarock from last 4.5 years. I've worked in Bangalore and now in Hyderabad, heading the business here from last 2.5 years.
So you've been in a lot of major cities. And I think I will also like to address the difference that you find in different cities.
So there's a huge difference that one can see in different cities in terms of real estate. So first I would say is basically a people's difference in terms of the consumer behavior. So in cities like Bombay, people have more practical demands, wherein in cities like Hyderabad and Bangalore, people have practical demands as well as they follow a lot of Vastu. So Vastu plays a very important role when one is going to see and buy an apartment. Second thing is that in bigger cities like Bombay and Gurgaon, a family of, say, a husband and wife would take the key decision of buying a house. But what I've seen in Hyderabad is that apart from the family, the extended family, like the spouses, parents, and everyone in the family kind of takes a joint decision of buying a property. So it's more of a family-oriented purchase rather than a practical and a smaller family kind of a purchase.
So you feel that Hyderabad is more emotionally driven?
Yes, it is pretty much emotionally driven in terms of their purchase decision. And they also look at the distance from the kid's school, the distance from the spouse's place of work, the distance from where the parents are staying. So all these also plays a very important role in shortlisting a location and then shortlisting a product.
Right. Okay, that's very interesting. It's good to have insights about different cities when you compare it to Hyderabad, and I think we do stand out. So we have been talking about, the market being down, and I think it has been a tough year for the real estate industry. And what do you see? I mean, obviously we're hoping for a good year in 2025. What do you see is going to happen? Will it get better?
So yeah, it's indeed that we have seen that market has been tough from a last year. But if you look at data, from a data perspective, last year in FY23, from January till December, if you compare the number of units sold with this year in 2024, there has been only a 5% dip in the overall sales in terms of units. If you see in terms of the sale value of the properties, there has been a growth of almost 24% because the prices have increased. Although the number of units sold have decreased, but the prices of an individual apartment on an average have increased, and therefore there the sale value has increased by 24%.
Okay.
One thing that we have seen in the year is that there has been not many new launches that have happened. So usually when there are a lot of launches happening, there is a buzz around the real estate market. People tend to buy into launches, investors buy during the launches. But when the launches are less, there is an overall sentiment that the market is down, and developers also feel that since approvals are not there, the new launches are not happening, and because of that, the sales have dipped down. But going forward in the last month also, in December 24, there have been a lot of approvals which are now started to receive by the developers. So we see a very good 2025, wherein we'll see launches happening from the month of January itself.
Okay.
And once the launches happen, there's definitely an uptake in the sales.
Okay.
Another important reason is that last year, the commercial leasing has been really high. It has crossed over 10 million square feet of leasing.
Oh.
And because of that, once the leasing is done, there will be people coming from outside to work in Hyderabad, and definitely they'll look for a house to stay. And because of that, the cycle will keep going, and there will be a very good real estate uptake in 2025 is what I feel.
And because they're codependent.
They're codependent. It's a cyclic. So once the commercial goes high, the residential goes high. Once the residential goes high, the commercial will go high. So it's a cyclic thing which happens, and it will definitely benefit the entire industry in the next coming years.
Okay, that's good news. I think the audience are going to be very happy to hear this. And if I have to talk about 2024, right? How you only said there's been a 5% of dip,
Yeah.
which I'm really surprised about. But if I have to compare it quarter-wise for 2024, if you could give a little bit of just on, how has it been for quarter one, quarter two, three, and what do you feel? I mean, the reports are not out, but how do you see, has it gotten better from quarter two and quarter three?
So see, basically what happened was that since all the IPCs and Anarock also, we take the data from January to December. So if we compare January to December 23 versus January to December 24, the dip is 5%. But if we compare April 23 to March 24 and then April 24 to March 25, then the dip will be much more.
Right.
Because the first quarter of 24, which was the Jan, Feb and March, those months were really good for the developers. There was pretty good sales in those months. But then after the next quarter, from April to June, there were elections in the country. Because of that, people were in a wait and watch situation. They wanted to see which government will come up and what will happen to the overall real estate scenario. So the sales were down. Then second quarter is usually from July to August. It is known for low sales because of monsoons. And then in Hyderabad particularly, the Hydra issues started to coming up. That kind of led to people being in a wait and watch situation to see what will happen. Then quarter three, which is your October to December quarter from a financial year's perspective, it's usually a very good quarter because of the festive season. But in particularly in our case in Hyderabad, since the Dussehra and Diwali, both the festivals came in the same month, and Dussehra being really big here in Hyderabad, most of the people went to their native places. So the house purchase thing kind of took a backseat, and therefore there was a dip. But then we see now after the approvals coming up, the next quarter, which is Jan to March, will be really good. We'll have a lot of new launches coming up in the city, and the overall market will definitely move towards a positive momentum.
That's very great to hear. I think this episode is very on a positive note, and seems like all the investors and developers are looking forward to a better real estate scenario in Hyderabad. Yeah, so when I was looking at the reports, Anarock showed about close to 20,000 units, residential units being sold. To be precise, 19,700 units. Do you And do you feel that it's going to be much lesser in Q4? So from what I, looked at the reports, it could be close to 40% down.
It will be lesser than 19,000 for sure.
Okay.
Because usually from last couple of years, we have been seeing around 13,000 to 15,000 units getting sold in a quarter.
Okay.
Q1 being an exceptional quarter, we saw 19,000 units being sold. Q4 will again be very much similar to it has been on an average of say around 14,000 to 15,000 units in this quarter.
Okay.
Is what we can expect in this quarter year.
So what on average have you noticed? That is just not 2024, but you've been here 2.5 years. What is a good number, an average number?
So see, in terms of sales, if you see on an yearly basis, last 2-3 years, we have been seeing somewhere between 55,000 to 58,000 units getting sold on a year-on-year basis, which is a little less than Bangalore. Bangalore would sell somewhere around 65,000 units in a year. So if we compare that with Bangalore, we are doing pretty good from that perspective. And what I feel is that with the new launches coming up, the number of units getting sold in next year will definitely cross 60,000. It has already crossed 60,000 last year. It will definitely cross 60,000 in the current year as well.
Okay, you're talking about the overall for the year.
Yes.
Okay. So you gave us an insight on the quarterly basis, the numbers and the insights that you have. But, talking about the entire year, like you mentioned, in 2023, about 61,000 units were sold. And in 2024, it's estimated to be 58. And it's maybe not a growth, it's a degrowth. And why does it feel like we've taken a big hit?
So it is primarily due to sentiments. So when you do not see a lot of new launches happening, the marketing is not like that. So you don't get to hear about having, a 300 crore launch or a 400 crore launch. So if those kind of news are not there in the market, then people think, the market is not doing great. And then it becomes like a sentimental cycle wherein everyone feels it's going in a negative direction. But there has been a dip. I will not disagree to that. But it has not been to that extent to which we all are thinking that, it has been like the year has gone by. It is not that bad either.
Okay. Because, in the past couple of episodes that we did and the inputs and like you said, the emotions coming back or reflecting has been, it seemed like a bigger ball than it actually is, right? So also considering the negative or, there's no growth that we saw, but it's not as bad as we thought it would be. On an average, the cost per SFT is around 6,000 change, and it's expected to go up by 1,000. Right? How does this work in a space where the market seems to be down or a market that's not growing?
So although the number of units have gone down, but the prices have increased by a good 20 to 24% in this year as compared to last year. And that is what is giving a higher sale value to the developers throughout the year. The reason for price increase is basically the developers in Hyderabad, even if the sales goes down by a bit, they are reluctant in reducing the prices, and which is good, which keeps the market going. And because of that, the market is going well. The prices have increased from last year. Another reason for the increase in price is basically your increase in your steel price, increase in the cement price. So the raw material prices have increased, the labor cost have increased, and because of that, the per SFT cost also have to increase.
All right. Does a developer, take a hit when you said that they're not reducing the prices, they're not compromising on it? But will it not have a negative impact on them when the units are not being sold?
So it is not that the units are not being sold. If someone was selling 20 units a month, he is probably selling 10 to 12 units a month. So the units have, the sales velocity have gone down. But if he was earning, say, 20 crores by selling those 20 units, today he is earning, say, 15 to 16 crores by selling those 12 units. So the loss in terms of revenue is not that much, as it seems by the number of units going down.
Okay.
And I think the slow phase have gone now, and we look at the positive side of it, that from this quarter onwards, there will be a good uptake in the number of sales in the entire market, and we'll see the Hyderabad market again going back to its normal in a couple of months.
So, Mudit, we in Hyderabad in 2023 saw about 78,000 launches, right? And in 2024, it's estimated to be 58,000. And of course, it's come down. What is your take on that?
So I think it was necessary for the number of new units getting added to come down, because we were already at 1 lakh units unsold in the market. And after adding 58,000 units last year, we sold only 58,000 units. So we are still at 1 lakh units unsold. So that's a big number. If you compare it with any other city in India, we have an overhang of around 20 months, which means that the existing inventory that we have in the city, if we do not add any new inventory, it will take around 20 months to sell that inventory. If we compare that with Bangalore, Bangalore will have an overhang of around 6 to 8 months. So you can compare 6 to 8 months versus 20 months.
Yeah, it's more than double, yeah.
So I think it was necessary that the approvals were not there, so new inventory have not come in the market. We are still sitting at 1 lakh units, 1 lakh units in the city, and that is a big number. That is a big number. But now with the new launches coming in, there will be an uptake in the sales as well. So I think the government and the developers, everyone should look at trying to lower down the number of unsold inventory which is there in the city.
Okay. So why do you feel that we have a lot of inventory?
The major reason that I see for this is that we do not have an FSI rule. So there is no regulation if you have 100 feet abutting your land parcel, and if you can give those desired setbacks, you can make any number of floors. So because of that, the landowners also have that kind of asked that you maximize the FSI, because you can make unlimited number of floors. So if you see the new projects which are coming up in last 1.5 year, most of them are upwards of 30 floors. If you compare with other cities, on an acre of land, they'll make around 2.5 to 3 lakh square feet. Whereas in Hyderabad, we are making 4 to 5 lakh square feet in an acre of land. And therefore, the supply is kind of increasing multifold. And hence, the number of units unsold is also very high.
Okay. For the unsold units, right? If I have to compare it to the new launches that could happen in 2025, how do you picture this is going to be in 2025?
So see, in 24, there are a lot of investors who are keeping away from the market. They will now again get back to the market, because investors prefer investing during the launch and the pre-launch phases. So once the launches are there, the investors will start to come in and putting in money into the real estate sector. So that is when we will see higher number of sales going up, and that will reduce the unsold inventory. Second point is that there were a lot of new projects which came up after COVID. Those projects are now ready for delivery. So the investors who had invested in that time, they will want to now liquidate their inventories. So the end users now will buy the ready to move in apartments from them. And these investors will again have good money in their hands to invest again into real estate, because they have seen a good appreciation in the last 4 years. So that cycle will kind of keep going, and we'll have more and more investment coming into real estate from the local population here.
Okay. And you feel the number of unsold units will come down?
It will definitely come down.
2025.
Yes.
Okay. And do you feel the launch is going to increase as well?
Yeah, the launches are going to increase, because there had not been many launches in this year. So all the projects which are planned to be launched in this year will definitely get launched in the coming year. So we will see more number of launches in the next year.
If if I have to look at overall picture, what is in demand? Is it 2 BHK, 3 BHK, SFT on an average? What is the demand that's there?
So the major demand is for 3 BHK, because families here like to live in a larger size houses, or if not larger size, they need an extra room, because at least one of the spouses working in the IT is working from home. So they need one place to quietly do their work throughout the day without disturbing the family in the other rooms. So because of that, 3 BHK is in demand. Since the prices have increased, what we see is that the earlier demand of 3 BHK in 2000 square feet sizes have now come down to 1650, 1700, 1800 square feet of sizes. So that the ticket size doesn't change, because the investable money that a person has is usually around 1.5 to 2 crore rupees. So earlier, a 2000 square feet apartment was available in that price range. Nowadays, a 1650 to 1800 square feet apartment is available in that range. So the smaller sizes are now getting preferred more, but definitely 3 BHK over 2 BHK any day for anyone.
So we saw how Kokapet boomed, right? It was a sudden thing and very fast. And we see a similar thing happening with Mokila. Do you see this going further to Shankarpalli?
Yeah, so Kokapet has seen a tremendous growth in the last couple of years. And now, since the property prices have moved high, Mokila, once being a villa market, is now getting converted to an apartment market. Consumers are fine traveling 15-20 minutes more and buying an affordable house there as compared to Kokapet. Also, there are a set of customers who are looking at buying bigger houses. So instead of buying a smaller house in Kokapet, they're looking at buying a bigger house in Mokila. So Mokila market is now, we can say, officially an apartment market. And villas are now moving towards Shankarpalli. So Shankarpalli, earlier known for farmhouses and farmlands, are now getting a lot of villa projects in Shankarpalli. And yes, definitely after Mokila, Shankarpalli is the next location which people will look into. But then in that case, they will also have competition from markets like Tukugura and markets like Velimala, Pati, Patancheru. So those competitive markets will also be there when you compare Shankarpalli with these markets.
Okay. So talking about, independent houses and villas, we see, according to the report, it's about 20-30% of the market, which is maybe more than 3,000 SFT and about 2 crores, right? And how is that segment going to sustain? And is there a demand for it as much?
So see, a 2 crore and a 3,000 SFT market is there. There is a lot of demand. But what worries me is the larger sizes, 5,000 square feet and upwards, which goes to a ticket size of 6 to 7 crores. That I think in Hyderabad, we have almost around 10,000 to 12,000 units, which are available in this ticket size range. And definitely, we as a city does not have that many number of HNIs. So that is the segment which I feel is going slow and will remain slow for the next couple of years. But yes, other than that, in a lower ticket size, anything below 3,000 square feet is definitely, there is a huge demand. And with the commercial leasing that has happened, there will be more influx of people, there will be more migration of people, and the demand for these sizes will definitely keep going.
Oh, you mean growing in terms of
Demand, yes.
If a developer is doing a project which is high-end and ultra-luxury, it's only the patience that comes into picture because your window for sale becomes larger.
Larger, and they should have their cash flow sorted so that the project doesn't stop and they continue to construct the project. And if the sales is slow also, if the construction continues, it will definitely kind of sell once the project is near the completion.
What I wanted to also ask you is, when your sale window becomes larger, does it affect the builder in any sense or developer in terms of profit?
It definitely affects in terms of profit, because your cost of construction also goes high year on year. Plus your cost of capital, the interest that you are paying on constructing that. If you don't have an inflow of the cash through sales, the interest cost keeps on going up year on year, and that kind of hits into the overall profitability of the project.
So why, I'm just trying to understand, right? Like the developer's mind, when they do an ultra luxury project, how do they get into it knowing that it could not give returns immediately?
The larger ticket size apartments started to do really well when they were launched in 2022. So for a year and a half, those kind of sizes did really well. But then when most of the HNIs had already purchased those apartments, and the inflow and the supply of those kind of apartment keeps coming. So developers saw that other developers are benefiting a lot from that. And therefore, they also started putting in bigger sizes apartments. There were two reasons to it. One is that since there is an unlimited FSI, So if you are making 50, 60 floors of apartment, you cannot have very smaller size apartments. So you have to make bigger number of apartments in order to limit your number of units in the total project. So if it's a 50 floor project, and I make a 5,000 square feet apartment, I will only make a limited number of apartments. But if I start to make 1700, 1800 square feet apartment and a 50 floor building, then I will have a multifold number of apartments. And to kind of restrict the density in the project, the sizes goes up. Another thing is that the success of these projects the developers have seen, and then they have also got into making similar kind of sizes. And I think that's where data comes into place. That I always tell my developer friends that always look into data, always look into the supply, the demand which is there, and basis that only plan the product, not look at others and plan your product.
Right. And also developers do a combination.
Yes, they do a combination, and it's always good to do a combination then, because then you have a variety of apartments available. So whenever a consumer is coming, you are kind of catering to different segments of the consumer. So you have smaller apartments also, you have larger apartments also. So therefore, if the sale for a larger apartment is slow, you will keep getting the cash flow from the sale of smaller apartments.
Right.
That is how it helps the developers.
So you say the combination of different sizes and all of that is the best. So Mudit, we've seen the South is picking up. And what is your take on, how the prices are on that side of the city?
So yeah, South will be the next biggest market from now, primarily because of the reason that it has good connectivity to the IT district as well as good connectivity to the old city also through the PV Narasimha Rao flyover. And the rates currently which is ongoing in that area is somewhere around 6,500 square feet. Two large gated branded communities charging 7,500 to 8,000 square feet as well. So if you compare that with the current rates going on in the west part of the city, it is still pretty affordable, and therefore people are wanting to invest in there. Another good thing about South is that it is closer to the airport. So there's a big aero city coming up there. Then it is closer to the AI city, which the government has planned as a fourth city. It is closer to the skill university. So that area being located strategically with all the new developments which are going to happen in Hyderabad, south of Hyderabad is definitely going to see a good boom in the coming future.
Okay. And what about the north and east shaping up in Hyderabad?
So North Hyderabad, we see a lot of projects coming up at Kokapet and Suchitra area, and that area is also developing a lot. It has developed a lot in a couple of years. There are 3 flyovers which are planned and under construction. Once those flyovers are ready, it will shorten the distance from the north towards the IT city.
Okay.
And therefore, north will have a good potential now also and in the coming future. East of the Hyderabad is usually a traditional market. It is more driven by the business community of that area. Plus, a lot of government institutions are also there. So most of the buyers are from retired government officers and working with the government. So that still remains a traditional area until and unless some big IT park or some big IT setup comes up in that area. That will still going to remain a traditional market with demand only coming from that area.
Okay, so just be more localized.
Be more localized because since IT is the only industry which kind of keeps the rotation of people. So we will have new people coming up every year, which happens in the west of Hyderabad, and therefore the sale of the apartment, the sales supply, everything is almost 60% of the overall supply and demand of the city. But in east, it still remains around 25 to 30% because it is mainly due to the local domestic demand of that area.
Okay. And is that market going to be an apartment or kind of this or more independent houses?
So primarily the customers are from independent houses which are looking to now move into a gated community to enjoy the kind of lifestyle, enjoy the clubhouse. The families are becoming bigger. So the extended families, once the son or daughter is getting married, they want to move to a gated community, but they don't want to leave their ecosystem. They want to be near to their parents, but also enjoy the apartment life. So therefore, it is mainly apartments which are in good demand, but all across the ORR, both sides of the ORR. We have a lot of villa projects also coming up, and there is a demand for villa projects as well.
So Hyderabad being more IT driven in terms of in real estate, right? Bios and all of that. What other sectors do you think has contributed towards that growth of real estate?
So apart from IT, we have a very strong pharma sector. So all the areas towards the northwest, which is your Miapur, Bachupalli, that area gets a lot of demand from the pharma sector. And other than the pharma sector, the medical sector is also very strong in Hyderabad. So we have a lot of doctors who are investing into all the different type of projects. So that also is one of the biggest contributor to the real estate sales.
This is something that I didn't know. We earlier discussed about the average unit price going up or price per SFT. And we're known for, affordable market, a traditionally affordable market. How do you think we are going to position ourselves with the price going up like that?
So I think in the last 2 years, we are no more an affordable market because affordable market is something wherein you get an apartment in less than 1 crore. But if you now see in Hyderabad, you get nothing less than 1 crore in Hyderabad, especially in key areas wherein people want to buy. So if you see last 2 years, majority of the uptake has been into the luxury segment, which is 1.5 crores and upwards.
Right.
So I don't think we will be able to make products which are less than 1 crore because the land rates have gone really high.
Right.
And because of that, the per square feet cost cannot be less than at least 6,500 rupees.
So, and that being, which is going to increase by 1,000 rupees at least.
Yes.
In the coming year.
So basically, the kind of growth in pricing that we have seen in the last couple of years, it might not replicate the same in the coming years. The percentage of increase or the percentage of growth will slow down, but there will definitely be growth. It will not get stagnant.
I'm just going to touch a sensitive point with, the whole geopolitical uncertainty as of now. How insulated do you think Hyderabad market is?
Hyderabad is driven by IT, and a lot of IT depends on US and Europe, wherein the geopolitical market is in some kind of turmoil everywhere. But I think we also have a very strong in-house demand, which will continue the real estate segment. Also, in the last couple of years, India has come up as a preferred location for the GCCs, which is the global capability centers for the big IT companies.
Okay.
So they are looking at making India as the capital of GCCs. So currently, I think we have around 1,200 GCCs in India. Hyderabad, I think, has around 200 GCCs. So we will have more of these global capability centers coming up in our city, and that will kind of trigger the growth for real estate in terms of both office leasing as well as residential real estate. So we will definitely get some ripples, but due to the strong in-house demand that we have, the market will not tank is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good news.
Yes.
There's a kind of a shield that we don't really have to worry about. So it's also estimated that the net absorption has or going to cross 10 million SFT in Hyderabad this year. Yeah. And which obviously we spoke earlier is going to result in residential going up. But what is the time frame that you see, while the commercial is coming up? How long does it take for the residential to pick up?
It's a cyclic thing. So like this year, we have already closed 11 million square feet of leasable area. These offices will start getting operational in a couple of months. Your employee base will start working on that. And then probably say a couple of months post then, we'll start seeing demand for more residential. So say from now, you can say around 8 to 10 months, we'll start seeing.
It's that quick. So it's within a year.
Within a year.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. I thought it would take a couple of years.
No, it won't take a couple of years.
Okay.
Within a year.
So you've been in a lot of cities and the major metro cities, right? How do you feel Hyderabad stands out?
So Hyderabad stands out in terms of the kind of buildings that we have made here, the kind of infrastructure which the government has made, the kind of roads that we have. You go to any other city, you go to Cyber Hub in Gurgaon, you go to BKC in Bombay, or you go to Whitefield in Bangalore. The kind of infrastructure setup that we have in Hyderabad in high-tech city is uncomparable. And Similarly, for residential apartments also, if you see, the kind of apartment sizes that we have here in Hyderabad is not available anywhere in India. You cannot find a 16,000 square feet apartment that kind of size anywhere in India. So I think Hyderabad is people of Hyderabad wants luxury. They want bigger size apartments, and that is, I think, what keeps us apart from the other cities in India.
So it's good to know. I think we are on the luxury side of it.
Yes, definitely we are on the luxury side.
So Mudit, the peripheral market, micro market, is gaining traction now, right? And which areas do you think seems promising?
So in terms of peripheral markets, since the main core markets, the prices have gone up. Consumers who are not able to afford in that area are now looking at going to peripheral markets.
Okay.
Since the road infrastructure is so good in the city, that even going to a peripheral market, the time taken to traverse is not much because of the ORR. So all the areas which are abutting ORR, say from Agundla Pochampalli till the south, which is your Rajendra Nagar and Tukukuda, towards the western belt, all the locations are good. But the good ones currently which are into focus is towards your Tukukuda, which is good for villas, and your Gagan Pahad and Satamra area, which is coming up as a new hub for residential apartments. Okay. A lot of branded developers are entering into that market, and that market is going to see a good boom if you talk about the peripheral market.
Okay. Yeah. And if you could just give a gist to our audience about what it means.
So it means that the kind of boom that, say, a Kokapet or a Narsinghi has seen, the South market will also see similar kind of growth in, say, next 2 to 3 years. Okay. So if you are an investor looking to invest, you should definitely consider South of Hyderabad as one of the key markets.
Okay. I mean, I was just getting to that, right? I want to end this episode with a suggestion or a couple of suggestions that you could give our buyers who are looking at investing in 2025.
Sure. So I'll answer this question into 2 parts.
Sure. Yeah.
First is for the end users. So if you are looking to buy an apartment, to live in that apartment, there is no better time than now, because there are a lot of very good quality apartments, branded developers, ready to move in apartments available. So you should definitely go and check as per your preference and buy. There is no need to wait. The prices are not going to go down. So if you want to buy now. For investors, I would say that look for opportunities when it's a launch project, or if you have a bulk money which you can park in real estate, then look for a one-time payment plan wherein you can look at a developer's credibility. If it's a good developer, have decent history of delivery, you should definitely put your money in that, because that is where, from an investor's perspective, you will get a good return. Another thing that you can look at as an upcoming area which is there, wherein the average price of that area is less than the average price of the city. So that area is somewhere that you can invest your money into. Okay. So that will be my advice.
Okay. So in terms of locations also, how would you segregate in terms of investment?
So I think in current market scenario, I would say Gagan Pahad and Satamra is one of the top locations you can invest into. Second, I would say Mokila in terms of apartments. And then otherwise, Kollur is also a very good market, because of its proximity to financial district, its proximity to the high-tech city, and the kind of development which is happening at Kollur, Telapur, Osman Nagar. So that is something which will make it like a second Kokapet in a couple of years. Okay. So therefore, I feel that area is also good for investment.
The inputs that you've given is mostly for apartments.
Yes.
If someone wants to buy, say, a villa or in a gated community, what would you suggest?
So for a villa, I would say Rajendra Nagar and Tukukuda is a very good location to purchase a villa. And other than that, then Velimala and Patti is also another good locations where you have good quality villas coming up. So I think these locations are somewhat good for villas. If you are into IT or you work in this side of the city, if you are from a business, so then you can look at anywhere around the ORR, because the time travel is less because of ORR. But otherwise, these markets are really good markets.
Okay, great. Would you like to give some inputs for, say, a land?
So if you are looking at buying a plot, then the current hottest markets are Bangalore Highway and the Bombay Highway. Okay. So Bangalore Highway, your Shadnagar and that area is really doing good. Okay. For Bombay Highway, any anything between Sadashiv Pet to Kamkol Toll Plaza, it's a good location to purchase. You have the IIT there. You have the Indore Expressway going from there. NIMS is coming up there. So that area is also looking for a good growth in this decade. So I would say if you want to buy land, either Bangalore Highway or Bombay Highway.
Well, it's been a very enlightening episode for me with a lot of insights, a lot of data. And I think it started with a good note, and we needed that, for to welcome 2025. And I'm sure the audience are happy to, get all your inputs. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a very good episode. Thank you.
Thank you for calling me.